I'm going to show you how I made 45 pips trading the pound yen this morning. And I told you how to make this money beforehand in the Discord group. And I'm also going to show you how to make money the rest of this week. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? I am back with another chart breakdown video. And today I'm going to do the same as always, where I break down the pound yen. I'm going to show you the new levels and scenarios to look out for the rest of this week to make some money. And I'm also going to show you the trade that I took this morning during the London session to make 45 pips. Please remember, join the Discord community using the link in the description. That's where I called out this trade and told you what I was looking for beforehand. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe on this YouTube video. It really helps me out. Let's get into the breakdown. So right now we're looking at this the daily candles. So I want to see this daily candle close above the previous daily candle, or 2 days ago daily candle. So I want to see price come up to here and close. I'd prefer to see it close above 183. I don't think we're going to see that today. It doesn't seem like it's strong enough to close up there. We don't know though. But I wanted to close above this one to show me that the buyers are in control and they're going to keep pushing price along. We'll have to wait and see what happens though. If we close below this 182, let's call it 60 area, I can see price getting stuck and getting trapped in a little range before it either breaks up or breaks down. We're going to have to wait to see what happens. Let's go down to a lower time frame. So one thing that I want to point out that is very, very important, especially when it comes to the Forex charts, is looking at the gaps. So we had a gap here. This was the overnight or the weekend gap. It was created from the news of the war that's happening between Palestine and Israel. So the market gapped down massively on Sunday night. It's Sunday night for me. For Asian session traders, it would be their morning time. It was about 60 pip gap straight down. So usually what happens with the gaps is the gaps like to be filled, but you don't know when the gap is going to be filled. So oftentimes when you have the Asian session open after the weekend break, you can see the gap get filled straight away and price goes straight up and fills the gap. Normally the gaps aren't this big on Forex pairs. So what we saw happen is it filled some of the gap, go short, hit a level, and then it retraced and filled all the way right back to the top of the gap. Another setup that you could take is looking to take a reaction when it fills the gap. So that was something that I was looking at. This was one of my levels, which was the end of the gap. As soon as price came up to the end of the gap, it rejected back down around 30, 40 pips. So this gap, very important. One thing that is important to note as well is we haven't seen a continued short move. We haven't seen those safe haven currencies all push up together, the dollar, the yen, and the Swiss. So right now, I would assume that there's not that much fear in the market. This big gap down was fear in the market. It was people on the weekend pushing price down, the institutions and banks, because of fear. But price has rebounded all the way back up to fill the gap. Price always could continue down and keep crushing it down based on if other countries join the war or anything like that. So it's something that we need to be aware of. Keep track of the news to see how it might affect the charts. So a couple of scenarios that I'm looking at and what I think is going to happen on this pound yen. One thing that might be important is, are we going to range in this box here? Is price just going to get stuck here? It's important because if it gets stuck here at the top where this level is, I can see price making a move to break long past 183, pull back and continue long. We're going to have to wait and see if that's a scenario, or what we could see happen is we could see this, it's starting to look like it could be a double top and it could move short back down to test the 182. So the two tops would be this one here and this one here. What we need to see is the hour candle, which closes in about 30 minutes. I'd want to see that close below the range. So close down here, and then we could see a double top and price continue down to 182. So my major levels are pretty similar from where my analysis on the weekend. So again, multiple whole numbers are my major levels: 183, 182, and 181. Those are my major levels. And then a little bit higher at this 181.30 area, I'd be watching as well. We've had multiple rejections out of this area at 181.60. And again, this 182.60 to 70 area also seems to be important. It's around where this gap ends. So if we can break above, cleanly above where this gap started from, I could see price continuing long. But the major area that it needs to break and close above is this 183, and then after that 183.50. So a few scenarios that I'll draw out. We could see price go short down to here before we get a reaction long. If price does break below 182, I wouldn't be looking for a pullback to go short. There's not enough in it for me, and price can turn around anywhere in here. So price could continue short and get a reaction here at the 180-160, but I would think it would be more possible to get a reaction either here at 180-130 or go even lower to 181 before you get a stronger reaction long. If we get that a break of this 181, I'd wait for a pullback to go short down into 180.30 area. And then once we get down into here, it gets a little sketchy. There's a lot of buy orders down here. I could see price retesting this area down here, 179.60, anywhere around here. You have this buying candle with a, oh, you can't see, sorry about that. You have this buying candle here, and then very strong buyers stepping into the market. So this would be a stronger area where I'd be looking for buys from. That's even deeper. I don't know if we're going to get down there for this week. We'll have to wait and see. For longs, I would look for price to break above this 183 and continue up. One more short idea is for price to come test the 183 and go short. You can take a short again if you really want to take a short at 183.50. It's not my strongest level, but I could see a reaction out of here. If you do break the 183.50, I could see a continuation to long side. So let me just draw in the other scenario. So it looks something like this. So those are all my major levels. So for entry, you'd have to look down on lower time frame price action to see if you want to take a trade at each of those support or resistance levels. Okay, now let me show you the trade that I took. Let me get rid of all of these scenarios, and I'll show you the trade that I took this morning during the London session. This is something that I called out in the Discord group in the trade chat. So I took this move long to fill the gap. So that's something that I called out. I was looking for the gap fill this morning. It was looking like we could have price push up. So let me go down to the 5-minute. So near the beginning of the Frankfurt session, news came out about the Japanese core CPI percentage potentially being increased. And what that did is it caused this big short move here. So strong short, this was only 10 minutes, but it was quite a big move based on current volatility on the pound yen. So it's about 50 pips short. And what did I see coming into the London session? I saw all of the shorts getting wiped out instantly. Price came all the way back out, wiped out all that news move short. So I was thinking more buys for the morning if we could break this 182 level. And what happened? We broke the 182 level. So I got in for a long as we broke, and price just trickled all the way up, and it came up to 63 type area. So I actually closed the trade a little bit before the end of the gap just to be cautious because we had already moved so much. So I ended up closing my position at 50 right here. It's a bank level at 50 just to be cautious, a few pips before the end of the closure of the gap to the left. So if you see this gap on the left, it closed 56. So I was just being a little bit cautious. Let me drop how I took this trade. So I just took it as a breakout above the highs, and I put my stop below the London low. So let me zoom in. London opened here on this doji candle. So I put my stop below the London low, took a breakout trade, and I took price up to 50. 2.87R trade. So it's a fantastic trade. It took a while here in this middle section. This took quite a while. It wasn't the easiest to sit through for this. At this point, I was able to move my stop to break even. I just had it here. So that was nice to be able to sit through the trade. It made it easier. I know I couldn't lose on the trade, but it was still annoying how long it took. But the 5-minute EMA, the 8 EMA on the 5-minute was keeping price up every single time it touched it. It rejected off of it, and it didn't give a close below it. and it pushed price all the way up. And as you can see, it didn't stop holding until here, which is when it started to move short. It did pull back up again, but then it moved short afterwards. So that's what I was using to manage the trade a little bit. And yeah, that was it. So 2.87R trade, fantastic trade. You can catch those too if you join our Discord community using the link in the description. Okay, now to look at the calendar for the rest of the week. What other news events do we have that we need to look out for? We have the dollar core PPI and FOMC meeting minutes. These can both move the market a lot, especially the FOMC meeting minutes based on what they say. On Thursday, 2 a.m. GDP news on the pound. Very, very important for the pound. And dollar core CPI, also very, very important. This could be a big mover as well. That's pretty much it for the news for this week. Other things could happen based on who speaks or in this consumer sentiment, but it's not as big news. Keep an eye out on the war between Israel and Palestine, as that can greatly affect the markets. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday for the next video. Thank you. Good luck trading for the rest of the week.